The sun in the morning filtered through cottonwood branches, creating a golden glow on the creek that wound its way through my property. Because clung to the tall grass, and a heron swooped down quietly along the sluggish curve of the water. I stood with a thermos of black coffee following otter tracks in the soft ground, when the rumble of tires broke through the stillness. A monstrous RV white with gaudy orange decals roared down the ancient fire road. I closed off last spring. The chain now lies in the ground, neatly cut bull shears. I had presumed squinting I hoped to see a mirage, but there she was. Lydia coming with stiff bleach blonde hair, arms full of folding chairs, and citronella candles. A yapping dog in a sequined vest trotted behind her, already digging at a turtle nesting place. She dug her heels in and roared. At last, a riverside sanctuary. I deserve. That is when I knew this was not a misunderstanding. This was war. I walked slowly, not wishing to scare her, or that dog, which was now digging perilously close to a conserved moss bed. "Ma'am, I'm Tom," I stated, voice firm. "This is private property subject to state and federal conservation laws. You're on an endangered ecosystem." I inquired if she required assistance in turning the motorhome around. She glared like I threatened the moon. "You can't stake nature," she growled, arms crossed. "This is an HOA property, so I can camp here. I know my rights." I corrected her, indicating the creek's designation as a protected waterway habitat for federally listed speckled frogs. Her smile was cutting, mocking, "Unless you're taking me in." "I'm staying, send whoever you have." She walked off in the middle of her sentence, her dog pulling along a torn bag of jerky. Then I spotted Ido, portable chemical toilet installation, 10 feet from the creek. My thermos nearly slipped from my hand in my back. At my farmhouse, I sat on the porch swing. Heart racing, this land wasn't dirt and water. It was my grandfather's legacy, where he taught me to read deer tracks at 5 after his death. I'd spent years with environmental groups to protect this waterway, the frogs, turtles, otter. They were family. Now Lydia was turning it into a festival grounds. I went to the county animal office. They knew me. Don't approach her again. The officer instructed, record everything. Video, photos, records will send someone, but it might take a day. I nodded to no one and headed to work by afternoon. Lydia's rampage continued. A pop-up canopy shielded a pile of wood beside driftwood. Her dog herded a duck into the reeds, yapping over the frog chorus. Pop music thumped from the sound of a Bluetooth speaker ringing through the trees. At dusk, I took my drone off the top field. The video was condemning her motorhome on a nesting site. The dog ripping up a bed of reeds. A fire ring surrounded by aerosol cans and gasoline. She dumped bug poison into the ground, contaminating the habitat of amphibians. I copied the documents twice and mailed copies to my friend Jake, a reporter who'd published an article on illegal dumping in my neighborhood. I wasn't in pursuit of glory justice that night. A second car arrived. Lydia's friends sporting glow necklaces, laying out sleeping bags on the moss where frogs had left eggs. They called it Creek Fest, laughing as they moved across Holy Land behind my drape's camera. Rolling, I seethed in silence. Not fear, but the kind which emerges when somebody breached that you've sworn to defend. The wildlife had no voice, I did, and Lydia had no idea how loudly mine could ring by morning. Creek was still no frog. Croakies, no heron sightings, just soft whir of rain on Lydia's gas generator and her friend's laughter over rain-spotty cell service. I trudged the ridge, noticing rain-filled tire ruts. A tarp over turtle burrows and plastic cups bobbing downstream. This wasn't rudeness. This was criminal. I'd spent years recording breeding cycles for 4 amphibian species, working with government agencies to gain protections. Lydia blew rain in a day. I set trail camera zone, staring at the RV's waste hose, draining into ferns. Another by the fire pit, closed dry brush body camera attached to my overalls, so I'd capture any altercation. The drone flew again as I took her dog. Digging where frog eggs were, I called wildlife unit. It's above. They said we need flagrant violations. Dogs off-leash, open fire, harassment of wildlife. I didn't have to wait too long. Lydia's dog yelled at a nesting bird, and a guest sprayed citronella oil onto ground. I reached for record. I looked for better fines. I wanted to be held accountable, So I named Sarah a Conservation League volunteer who had an eye for evidence she pulled up. Wearing a tan vest camera snapping as she crushed Reed soda cans in the creek and GPS'd damage. "This is enough," she said softly. Walking by at the fence, Lydia saw her eyes narrowed, sensing but clueless about its size that night. I had a night vision camera installed in a bird box and staked laminated signs about her camp-protected breeding area. No fires dogs or poisons transgressors. Prosecuted Lydia, they ignored them. Her friends lit fire pit, burned driftwood, and slats of fence smoke surrounded the trees, where they frisbeed in turtle nesting grass. The dog bolted through ferns. I videotaped it all when an owl came out of its nest. I felt a pang. This ground held my grandfather's words. My dead wife's picnics. Lydia's laughs didn't belong at 10 p.m. Sarah sent me text messages. Her photos were in the hands of the enforcement unit, and a blog was writing an expose with my drone footage. Then caught Lydia spray something, bug spray, maybe bear spray along the creek. My jaw clenched. She didn't worry about Rule's life or anything, but her comfort. I was done waiting tomorrow. The authorities would come tonight. I learned a lesson in boundaries. Morning brought smoke and mosquito spray. Lydia's camp was in shambles. A fallen tent, half-wet bacon grease crackling beside an illegal fire. Her dog in hot pursuit of a deer. A visitor wearing flip-flops urinated by a turtle nesting platform. I used the drone drinking in the waste hose. The dog the fire at 8:15, a silver pickup truck with a conservation sticker, drove up Ranger Dan, gentle but sharp barked. Greeted me on the ridge. I gave him memory cards. My logbook and map of areas which were destroyed. He scowled at photos of Lydia dancing through reeds with hairspray and spreading garbage. "Has she been warned?" he asked. "Yes," I said. She brushed it off, he whistled. "This will get ugly." At 9 o'clock, state and federal authorities showed up. They came down slowly, one with a clipboard, another with a GoPro. Lydia waved waving eggs and toast. No one smiled. They asked her name permission to camp. Awareness of protections, her excuses ignorance no signs. My rudeness grumbled. "We've seen the footage," an officer said. Citations mounted up illegal camping, dirt contamination, leash infraction, waterway blockage. Lydia's voice increased, insisting. Who accused her? The policeman indicated me. "You old creep, you set me up," she yelled. I stood silent, arms crossed. Her RV vanished in 30 minutes. Her friend frantically digging one in the mud. Rangers hung around taking apart the fire ring, testing dirt bagging a can of soda that had melted people. Like her shouldn't get to handle nature, one complained that day. Sarah sent her blog posting a photo of Lydia's RV in front of a "Do Not Enter" sign. Went viral, comments burned her. She grilled on a frog nursery. I walked the creek broken reeds and flattened moss. A single frog croaked. Testing the silence. "Welcome home," I whispered. Lydia didn't quit a tent. Rental van appeared days later. I sent it away but knew she'd return. I installed motion sprinklers and clouds. Sync trail cams. Sarah and I accompanied a school walk to educate children about the environment that night. Headlight outside my gate, Lydia's sun hat on the dash. She drove by and then left. I texted the video to Dan, continue recording. He texted trespassing. Now you have a second charge. 2 days later, I found a yurt outside the creek, fairy lights and yoga mats set out like a retreat. Lydia waved my drone shouting over attorneys, her dog digging turtle holes. I called Dan Noon. He arrived with a state regulator. Lydia tried charm after being informed by an attorney. She could camp near her HOA. The officer recited new charges. Re-entry into nation habitat damage marker. Tampering photos, testified to disregarding signs she collected in 15 minutes. Her stare at me, cold calculating, Dan cautioned. "Get a buffer." She's not done. She wasn't in a legal letter. Came accusing me of harassment and illegal surveillance. Lydia insisted creek was public. Her pictures I'm using binoculars, my drone admitted to harming my attorney laughed. She's given us a platform we countersued defamation harm and ecological misuses. Sarah's reporting agency journals and the blogs expose aligned U.S. conservationists came to my land school's planned field trips. The HOA recanted Lydia, recommending she'd leave post-see court online. Lydia portrayed herself as victimized. but comments tear her apart in court. My flannel faced her sunglasses. Her lawyer winced. The judge tore apart her threats, reading my signs out loud. Her suit was dismissed. She had to pay restitution and a 5-year exclusion from my property. She ran away, jaw clenched, pride hurt. The creek was healing, frogs croaked. Otters splashed. Heron stood firm. Sarah's school walk made children naming the frogs. Promising to keep them safe, a new sign read, "Protected Zone. If you do not respect silence, you do not belong." Polite walkers were also another guest sat by the river, with my wife's album of pictures. Her paintings lived again in the frog songs. The earth was not, my darkness was a defense stronger now, its silent truth louder than Lydia's din. She'd stirred a storm, but nature replied, relentless and